Every morning in Muscogee County, the doors of opportunity swing wide open. From Winton Fine Arts Academy to Aaron Cone Middle School. From Northside High School to Spencer High School, our schools are where futures begin. This is where curiosity is sparked, talents are discovered, and potential is unleashed. Our mission is to inspire and equip all students to achieve unlimited potential. In every classroom, hallway, and lunchroom, dedicated educators and staff lift up the next generation, one student at a time. Muscogee County School District is more than a system. It's the heart of our community. The MCSD is a beacon of educational excellence where all are known, valued, and inspired. We are proud to be named a Forbes Best Employers for Women and America's Best In-State Employers. When we support the Muscogee County School District, together, we build a stronger tomorrow. To every parent who believes in us, to every teacher who goes the extra mile, to every neighbor who cheers from the sidelines, and every leader who stands behind our schools. Thank you.
The future depends on teachers. Every day, teachers are shaping our tomorrows, starting their students on journeys that will change the course of history.
Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who will make preventing pandemics their life's work, sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who will help combat climate change,
and generating possibilities for a student who will become the first in their family to graduate college.
It all starts with teachers who meet challenges with creativity, who reinvent education for the future, who work towards a school system that lifts up every child, regardless of race, income, or zip code, and who enable the full potential of our students, our communities, and our country.
Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Shape the future. Teach.
Good evening. Welcome to our June 23rd regularly scheduled board meeting. And we will now pause for inspiration. Ms. McCrae.
Thank you all for joining us today. And on our very sunny and hot day, I thought I would draw a little inspiration related to the sun. It says, the sun challenges us to shine. The clouds remind us to move. The birds tell us we too can fly, and the sky tells us that there is no limit to our dreams and goals. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We will stand, I would say stand, but it's standing room only, but we're going to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Need a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Mr. Cantrell. All in favor, raise your hand. That passes. I want to welcome all of our visitors, and there's so many in here, and I know you're all going to be recognized later by the individuals that you're supporting, but we must recognize two legends in this building, our retired Superintendent, Dr. Jim Bunton. Thank you, sir. And our very first district-wide guidance counselor, Ms. Juanita Booker. And I'm sure we probably have some principals right now. I just see like a lot of people and like code violations. So welcome to everyone. I want to say, Alan Harkness, glad you're standing so I can see you, our director of our libraries, and Marianne Rickner, director of our Columbus Public Museum. Thank you so very much for always being here. So we're going to try to move along. This is the third of the three required public hearings that we're required to do each year as we adopt our budget and our 2026 mill rate. And I will turn it over to our finance chair, Ms. Kia Chambers, to conduct the hearing. Ms. Chambers.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Dr. Kia Chambers, Chair of the Finance Committee. And we are going to open it up for the public to speak in reference to the millage rate. But before we do, I am going to read into the record what we're required to read into the record in reference to the millage rate. Once I have completed that, then I'll open up the floor for anyone that wants to come to the microphone, and if you have questions, concerns, or if you'd just like to give us your perspective. In accordance with Georgia law, Muscogee County School District will hold public hearings on the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget and the fiscal year 2026 calendar year 2025 millage rate. All interested citizens have been invited to attend the following sessions at the Public Education Center Boardroom, 2960 Macon Road, Columbus, Georgia. Our first meeting was Monday, June the 9th, 2025 at 5:00 p.m. The second one was held this morning, June the 23rd at 11:00 a.m. And this is our third and final hearing at 6:00 p.m., June the 23rd. The board will vote on the fiscal year 2026 budget and the 2025 millage rate at the June 23rd, 2025, 6:00 p.m. meeting at this same location, and that is today. Muscogee County School District is proposing a millage rate of 23.075, unchanged from fiscal year 2025. However, this rate is 0.599 mills above the rollback rate of 22.476, which legally requires the district to announce a proposed property tax increase. State law defines a tax increase as any revenue gained above the rollback rate, even if the actual millage rate does not increase, because it reflects increased property values rather than a change in the rate itself. This will result in a 22.67% property tax increase, though property owners whose values haven't increased will see no change in their tax bill due to homestead exemption. And I'm going to read that one more time. Property owners whose values have not increased will see no change in their tax bill due to homestead exemption. The board has determined that this proposed mill levy is necessary to provide the resources needed to provide equitable opportunities for all students, ensuring they have the tools, resources, and learning environments needed to reach their full potential. Highlights of the budget expenditures include a 3% raise for employees and an 18% increase in the budgeted health insurance. A copy of the budget, along with the 5-year tax digest and M&O levy history, are available for public review on the district website or through the Muscogee County School District Division of Financial Services. And I've read that into the record. At this time, if there is anyone in the audience that would like to address the board, you have the right to come up to the podium at this time. Okay, going once. I have to ask 3 times, so I'm going to ask once again. Is there anyone who would like to speak to the board in reference to the millage rate? Yes. You are welcome to approach the microphone at this time, and we will hear your concerns. Please give us your name first, and then you can start with your questions or concerns.
My name is Sherry Carmack. I live for River Road in Columbus, Georgia. My question is, first of all, we have a very large number of people in our community that are retired military and people that are widows, etc., that are going to be suffering from this millage rate increase. Why are we doing it?
Okay, is that your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I think I'm a widow. I just became a widow.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is going to increase my property taxes. I don't have children in school.
Okay.
So I don't really see the sense in us doing this at this time.
Yes, ma'am. I do want to say once again that the millage rate is 23.075 and it is unchanged. We've actually had the exact same millage rate for the last, 2 years. And we actually rolled back the millage rate. This is the rollback rate from over 2 years ago. So we're not increasing the millage rate at all. It remains 23.075 as it was last year. But I will turn it over to Janice, our CFO, if she'd like to add anything to that. Janice?
If the property value has not changed, which it shouldn't with, if you have a homestead exemption, then our portion of the property taxes should not increase.
Right. It would be the same.
So who is it increasing for?
You want to answer that, Janice or Lori?
It's just that the overall,
Yeah.
it's that for the county, the overall tax base has increased because of new properties, some properties that are not under homestead that have had an increase in value. The extra revenue we will get is from those new properties or ones where their value has increased. It is not from, it is not from homestead properties.
Exemption. So you should see, we have a freeze, so you should see no change if you filed homestead exemption.
So really, they're just saying that we are capturing more revenue because, again, the overall tax base has increased. It is not that the actual rate has increased. The rate has stayed the same.
If you've not improved your home at all or built something new on your property or whatever, your tax increase, there will be no tax increase.
Okay, I have another question regarding this. I saw on the records that we have a $4 million increase in spending this year. What is the reason behind that? If we can't stay in our budget, we shouldn't continue to spend.
Can you give a little bit more information? $4 million increase in what type of expenditure?
Yes, expenditures from last year based on the budget.
So I can tell you again, we talked about the 18% increase in health insurance for employees that was passed along to us from the state. That's part of that increase. Just the cost for, everybody knows that like when we feed our children, we have to pay additional food costs. So these are all projections based on inflation and other factors that we know to be the case in our projections.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for coming to share your concerns. Okay. We will hear from the next person who has concerns in reference to the millage rate. Yes, sir. State your name and let us know what your concerns are.
Hi, my name is Glover Gossett. I live in northern Columbus. I have a question about, you said that the tax increase will not affect those who are homestead exempted. Less than 50% of the people who own homes in Columbus are homestead exempted. That's information I got directly at the last city council meeting. So that's going to affect over half of the people here, over half your community. They're raising our taxes, the city's raising our taxes because of property value increase. What that's going to do is that's going to create property owners to have to raise rates on rent for people. So they're going to have to pay more there. Then you guys at the school board level have standalone authority to raise property taxes separate from that, which you still get, of the majority of your budget comes from city property taxes. So why are we, my question is, and then also the last time she briefed here, you're dipping into a fund, 25% of a fund in order to balance the budget this year with the property tax increase for over 50% of the community, because that's how many are not homesteaded, plus the 25% dip into a fund, I think it's the general fund, I don't know, she would know. What's gonna, if you can't balance the budget where you have to keep dipping into funds and raising property taxes in order to get it, that's 25% of a fund. What's gonna happen next year? Are you hoping to gain 25% of that fund in revenue? And what's gonna keep happening? Next year, you're gonna have to dip in again, and the year after that? I mean, it's a fairly big concern, especially when the city's raising our taxes.
Absolutely. Lori?
That's my question. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Did you want a response, or?
Yes.
First, now 60% of our funding comes from the state, so 40% comes locally. So majority is from the state. We are very aware of this. I will say, if there weren't some unknowns, I think a lot of us would have liked to have rolled back, but there's some federal, I feel very optimistic our federal funding will come in, but right now we do not know some of that. And so it's hard to bank on that. And as we've mentioned before, there have been increases. So far as, trust me, I'm the last person that wants to dip into our reserve, but almost every year our projections are a lot worse than they end up being, because we have things that aren't we're budgeting for positions that aren't filled, things that don't happen. And so we usually do not dip into our reserve nearly like the projection is.
Okay.
And there are some other expenses. The health insurance has skyrocketed for all of our employees, as well as the contribution to the Georgia Teacher Retirement System has also, we've had to increase that, the district's contribution, employers' contribution into the Teacher Retirement Fund. So the increases are, it's hard to plan for, but once it occurs, you have to budget for it because it's a requirement to pay for it. And as far as, let's just be clear, that our mill rate is staying the same. The city, our city has realized the property value, which property owners like for their property value to increase. Property values have increased, and that's reflected on the tax rate. And so we have to call it an increase, even though we are not increasing the mill rate. The law specifically requires us to inform the citizens that because of the property tax increase, we stand to gain from that increase, because if your property tax changes, the percentage, of course, increases. What the school district as well as the city government benefits from, and it's how we operate, it's how we run our school system. And let me just say this, our board is specifically and keenly committed to maintaining the integrity of the classroom. In public education, we are required to educate, to provide a free and appropriate public education for all of the students, with all of their exceptionalities, with all of their different learning styles. We have to provide a free and public education. And for our employees, we want to retain and recruit the very best. And so we do try to maintain competitive salary. In Georgia, teacher retirement system in some components is like #3 in the nation. And we're required to have a contribution on that part. And so all of those impact our budget. So we really do appreciate the questions.
Dr. Lewis?
And Dr. Lewis.
And something none of us ever anticipated, quite frankly, is the need for school safety at the level we're focused on now. We've had to, a few years ago, we embarked on having our own police department to ensure the safety and welfare of our staff, students, and teachers. And so that is something that comes with a price tag, obviously, for personnel, for training, for equipment. Those are all things, but I don't apologize for that one bit. We've got to maintain the safety and welfare of everyone in our school system. Now, we can't guarantee it, but we can do everything we can to try and ensure that we're providing all the conditions that allow for that safety of our children, because that's important, I think, for everybody in this community. Whether you have them or not, I think we all recognize the need to ensure their safety.
All right,
Any
third
other
time.
board members have any comments or questions? Okay, that was the second time. I'm going to open up the floor for the third and final time. If there's anyone else that would like to address the board, you have the right to come to the front at this time.
All right.
All right, hearing no further questions, I'll turn it back over to you, Madam Chair, and that concludes our third and final public hearing.
Thank you so very much. Next agenda item is our district-wide recognitions. I'm sorry. We have some items to vote on from that hearing. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I'm distracted.
I'm Kimberly Wright, Director of Communications, and these are our June board recognitions. Richards Middle School's debate squad delivered a powerhouse performance at the Atlanta Urban Debate League State Debate Tournament, capturing both first and second place in the team's competition and earning individual and team medals across all divisions, novice, JV, and varsity. The novice team impressed with strong arguments and bold energy, while the JV team stood out with sharp strategies and confident delivery. The varsity team, seasoned and composed, led with precision and poise. Their success was driven by exceptional teamwork and mutual support throughout the tournament. Coach Deanne Morrison Willis celebrated the win, sealing it with a proud moment for all involved. Congratulations.
Is there a mic?
Good afternoon. My name is Rithika Polapoli, and I'm a rising junior at Columbus High School. I have debated with Richards all 3 years of middle school, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. I love doing debate, and as a junior and in Columbus High School, I assist Coach Miss Willis, and I help coach the novice and JV teams, and we have a very great time. And we would all like to thank our principal, Dr. Wizard, for allowing us to use his facilities and just letting us come to his school, even if the hours run late. We truly appreciate his help and his time. Thank you.
My name is Dorian Hunter, a rising sophomore at Columbus High School. I also go to Richards Middle School to help coach the middle school debate team, and I love it. It's a fun time. I think everyone should continue doing debate, or start if you haven't.
My name is Christian Porch. Next year I'm going to the 8th grade, and I will be in the varsity division at Richards Middle School.
My name is Axel Blue, and I'm an upcoming 7th grader at Richards Middle School on the novice debate team.
Outstanding. Okay, parents and supporters, raise your hand, wave at us. Thank you so very much. Outstanding, young people. Great job.
Congratulations to the Columbus High School's girls tennis team for an outstanding season, finishing as the GHSA AA state runner-up. The team compiled an impressive 21-7 record and secured the title of region champions. Several players earned prestigious individual accolades, being named to both all Chattahoochee Valley first and second team honors. Their dedication, perseverance, and teamwork were evident throughout the season, and we wouldn't be more proud of all they have accomplished. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Elaine Lynch, and I'm a graduating senior.
I'm Rachel Tillery, and I'm a graduating senior.
Hi, I'm Kate Greer, and I'm a graduated senior.
I'm Katrina Hurt, and I'm a rising sophomore.
I'm Riley Faircloth, and I'm a rising senior.
I'm Haley Hurd, and I'm a graduating senior.
Wow. Well, high schoolers, are your parents here? Any parents? Any parents or supporters of these, our tennis, GHSA tennis runner-up? Congratulations to you. Outstanding, outstanding. Great job. Way to go.
Congratulations to the Columbus High School boys tennis team for an outstanding season, finishing as the GHSA AA state runner-up. The team faced a, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. The team faced a highly competitive schedule, challenging opponents across multiple classifications and participating in several tournaments throughout the year. In a remarkable postseason performance, the Blue Devils defeated top-seeded Murray County High School to secure their place in the AA championship match. The team concluded the season with a 14-14 record. Congratulations again.
Hi, I'm William Brown, and I'm a rising senior.
I'm Mac Dickinson, and I'm a rising senior.
I'm Jaden Shaw, and I'm a rising senior.
I'm Audie Del Sanya, I'm a rising sophomore.
I'm Jahan Del Sanya, and I'm a rising sophomore.
Oh, good. So y'all will be back. All right. Any parents or supporters? Oh, one. Good. Congratulations to you guys. We'll see you back next year.
Yes. Congratulations again. The Columbus High School Blue Devil boys golf team concluded an exceptional season by capturing the GHSA AA state championship. The team posted a combined score of 11 over par, finishing an impressive 16 strokes ahead of the second-place team. The championship marks the 14th state title in the program's storied history and the 6th under the guidance of Coach Parker. The team's success was highlighted by a standout individual performance that secured the AA individual state title win, a score of 7 under par. In addition to the team's state victory, 4 players received postseason honors from the Georgia High School Golf Coaches Association, including selections to the first team All-State and honorable mention list. Congratulations to the team and coaching staff on a remarkable season and continued excellence on and off the course. Congratulations.
Blade Mann, I'm a rising senior.
Ethan Pham, also a rising senior.
Carl Tutton, also a rising senior.
Aiden Jefferson, rising sophomore.
Platt Solomons, rising junior.
Brooke Surkart, rising junior. Jay Patel, and I'll be attending Mercer's early medical program.
And I'm Coach Parker.
Congratulations. So that means you guys we'll have a repeat for next year. We're looking forward to it. Are there any parents, supporters? Okay. All right. Woo! Outstanding. Congratulations. Good job. Good job. See you back next year. Ms. Buckner.
Coach Parker,
Coach Parker.
Yes.
how many championships is there now?
Ma'am?
How many championships have you won in golf?
6 while
okay.
I've been there.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I now yield to Mr. Corey Neal to present the June Power of We Award.
Good evening. The June Power We Award winner is none other than the proud principal of Richards Middle School, Dr. Dwayne Wizard. And the submission goes as such. It is with deep admiration and appreciation that we nominate Dr. Wizard for the Power We recognition. Dr. Wizard is the embodiment of collaborative leadership, an individual who consistently puts the needs of staff, students, and families at the forefront. Dr. Wizard understands that true progress is not only based upon self, but how we move forward together. Dr. Wizard has created a school culture rooted in trust, respect, and shared responsibility. He empowers his staff to lead with confidence, encourages innovation in teaching, and his ability to listen with empathy and respond with wisdom shows us how much he cares. He shows often how much he cares for each and one of his staff members and his students, from championing student-centered practices to ensuring that every child feels seen and supported. Dr. Wizard just doesn't lead our school. He inspires a collective belief in the power of we. It is an honor to work alongside of him, and therefore we nominate him for this award. Let us celebrate him again.
Congratulations.
I will be brief because we've got a lot of appointments and recognitions this afternoon.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I do obviously have to thank God. I do need to also thank my family, mom, dad, my
Where
awesome
are they?
son.
They have to stand up.
Oh, you guys got to stand up. Of course, my awesome wife and my awesome son, August. I would be remiss if I didn't also thank my awesome Richards Middle School team. Please make some noise. Last but not least, obviously, I'd like to thank Mr. Bell, Dr. Lewis, the entire board, Corey, India, everyone who's involved in bestowing me with this awesome recognition. And I'll end with this. To quote one of my mentors, Mr. Kafele, leadership should always be present even in the absence of the leader. Our job, first and foremost as leaders, is to build capacity in our building because in a few years, our young ones are going to be leading us. So with this, I'd like to say thank you. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Congratulations. Next, we have our public agenda. So we have a special presentation for our public agenda.
I want to take a moment of personal privilege to invite Dr. Jim Button, former superintendent here in Muscogee County School District, to come to the podium. He is truly a champion for public education, but most importantly, children in general and for our community. He's someone I have come to respect and admire, and it's my pleasure to have him come and speak this evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Button. The floor is yours.
Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Lewis, it's a pleasure for me to be here tonight. And this is my fault. This is my first board meeting in 30 years. And I miss the first part. Some of it, to be honest with you, I don't miss. But we've got a beautiful school system, and I'm so proud of you. I'm here tonight to congratulate Dr. Lewis and this board. I've seen a lot of innovative programs in my lifetime in education. Some worked, some didn't. But the ones that worked were the ones that had a focused emphasis on whatever you're trying to change. Now, we have, for years, tried to help disadvantaged children raise the level in the school system. We've had some success, but we've never had the success that we should have had with them. And you've got a program that's been initiated that, in my opinion, is going to do just that. Your Brewer project that Dr. Lewis has brought to this board and you supported is the finest project I've ever known to do exactly that. It's going to focus exactly on the children that need it. And I've been fortunate enough to be part of a group that really they don't even have a name. I don't know who they are, but they meet every Monday. And they are wonderful people. They're very supportive of this community, extremely supportive of education, and do a lot of talking. But that's all we've done, is talk. You know, human beings do an excellent job of that. But they finally made a decision that, you know, instead of talking, why don't we do something? And that was unanimously approved. They decided that what they wanted to do was come alongside of Dr. Lewis and the Brewer Project and support them. And the way they've chosen to support them is to raise $650,000 and employ an expert in the field of children that are educating children that are disadvantaged. And we will be in fact, we're already going to initiate that program in the feeder schools that come into Brewer to give them some additional tools for these children when they come back to the feeder schools. Because, you know, in dealing with that type child, the most important ingredient, in my opinion, you got to have empathy for them. You got to understand that that really, they didn't start even. But to be able to do the job that you need to do, empathy is not enough. You've got to have some skills that go along with it, because it takes special skills for this type student. So what this group has chosen to do, and I want to identify a few folks in the crowd that are extremely instrumental in this. I'd like for John Schinkel and Mike Welch and Marquette McKnight, if you're here, to stand. they are, Mike and John have been the ones that, I don't know whether their arm was twisted or they're just that stupid, but they decided to be the ones to raise the $650,000. So we're very appreciative of that. And it's going to happen. It's not a matter of will it happen. It's going to happen because you got dedicated people that are going to make it happen. But again, the emphasis tonight is just to congratulate this group and let you know that for years you've served, and many of you I know from years ago. We won't talk about age, but some of you getting on up there. But that's a good thing because you stayed on this board. You've done the work that needs to be done every day, and a lot of it is appreciated. Some of it's not, but that's a part of living. But we appreciate you. We want you to understand that this community supports you, and that there are ups and downs, but we're going to be there when the downs come. So thank you for the opportunity to be in here tonight. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for this group that has made a decision that we don't need to only talk, but we need to do some things. And they're in the process of getting it done, and I'm very appreciative of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Button. Thank you, Dr. Bunton, and to your associates and friends that you brought with you. The best thing about Columbus is our public-private partnership, and people put their money where their mouth is. So we appreciate the opportunity, and so I will go ahead and read our background and rationale for our public agenda because we do have some other speakers. All official meetings of the board shall be open to the press and public. However, the board may meet in executive session. Speakers' remarks should be directed to the board and shall be limited to 5 minutes. Citizens are encouraged to address items on the board agenda or to initiate presentations of issues appropriate for school board consideration. If an individual desires to speak, they may contact the superintendent's office to be placed on the agenda. The board meeting or the work session is not the appropriate place to address either criticisms of particular employees or individual parent complaints when such complaints have not been first addressed to the attention of the appropriate administrator for a resolution. Citizens are encouraged to follow normal channels to address individual parent complaints or problems. The following individuals remaining on our public agenda is Mr. Anthony Johnson and Ms. Denise Cambridge. Mr. Anthony Johnson, are you here?
Just a little bit of paperwork for you, just a little bit. And so what you're going to find out, well, let me introduce myself. I'm sorry. Anthony Johnson, and I am a proud Carver Tiger. I see we got a lot of Carver Tigers here, so I want to start off with that. And I am right now, I currently reside in North Columbus over in the Spring Lake area, and I am here because I am the Columbus High School mock trial coach. But I am not here just for Columbus High School. I am here for mock trial in general. And so what you will see is that very first page that you're going to see, it says, congratulations, Decatur High School, Georgia 2025 mock trial champions. That offends me. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. You saw that we have some very talented children in this district. We've had state champions in football and basketball and tennis and soccer at one point. We've had the golf that we saw, the tennis and everything, and I feel there's no reason why we should not have one in mock trial. We have had 4 teams, I would say, historically that has gone on. There's a total of 153 teams that normally compete in any given year in mock trial. Normally we send Northside, Brookstone, Pacelli, and Columbus High School. That's it. I did speak to the principal of Spencer, Principal Patterson, and she is exceptional, by the way, and hopefully this upcoming year they will have a team that's going to be put forward. And as a Carver Tiger, I'm going to say one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. We're never going to let a green wave outdo us. And so I'm hoping that, my Carver Tigers are going to be somewhere close behind. But the importance of mock trial, I cannot really understate that. There's 340 individuals that are in the population of the United States. 1.3 million of those are lawyers. So that is less than 0.5%. Very, very small amount. And as far as us, the defense bar, which I'm a criminal defense attorney by trade, we are very much so struggling as it pertains to recruiting young lawyers and young talent back to Muscogee and back to Columbus. And we have to start here. Most of the time, they'll either go to CSU or some school, and we don't have a law school that's close. We have Faulkner that's to our west. We have Mercer to our east. We have John Marshall, UGA, Georgia State to our north. No one to the south. And so we don't really have a school here, but we have talent here. And so what I saw was that, unfortunately, they'll go from Richards Middle School as the debate team. One of those young ladies on the right, she's actually a member of our Columbus High School mock trial team. They'll go from Richards or whatever school they're going for debate or mock trial. They'll go to their respective high schools, and that's pretty much it. There's no way or nothing that really follows them to that next step and that prepares them. And I'm a soccer/football coach, and one of the things that we say, you have to get the kids touches, which means they have to get that exposure. They have to get that experience. They have to fall on their face sometimes, right? They have to have a coach who's going to say, your public speaking, I want you to work on that. Your presence, I want you to work on it. And I think most importantly, your conflict resolution at this age, I want you to work on that, right? How you speak to adults, how you do courtroom decorum, I want you to work on that. And that's not something that at 14 and 15 and 16 and 17 and sometimes not even at 20 and 30, we have learned until we have had the appropriate amount of touches, the experience in order to get there. I think that the one thing that we are missing is that as the district, we have to buy in. Every judge that I have spoke to wants to support Georgia High School mock trial. They want to support the students coming to the government center. They want to take out their time if they need to and say, hey, if you need the courtroom to be open, I'm willing to do that. Every parent that I've spoken to is excited about it. Administrators, we just have to make sure that at the district level, we are fully committed. Difference between being interested and committed is going to be that level of sacrifice, that we are fully committed to our kids becoming lawyers, doctors, or whatever they want to be. And so this is just kind of the tidbit. I know I gave you a little bit of paperwork, and at some point in the future, I'll go ahead and tell you I'm going to be coming back. All right? And hopefully I will be with some students and some teachers, and so that you can actually see that mock trial is going to be growing, and we're going to ask for your support. So thank you on that.
Thank you so very much for sharing with us. Good evening, everyone. Denise Cambridge, your favorite parent of Muscogee County School District. Good evening to the board, to Dr. Lewis and the cabinet as well. I wanted to come here this evening just to say thank you. First to Dr. Smith in his previous role as Federal Programs Director, and to Dr. Lewis for approving me or nominating me to be the parent representative for all of Muscogee County at the State School Superintendent Parent Advisory Council. I wanted to come to the May meetings because I've foregone coming to the May meetings because of all of the celebrations, but it looks like tonight is a packed house to celebrate as well. But again, just the opportunity to serve as the parent representative for the last 2 years. I came into the Parent Advisory Council at the end of what was a very robust conversation after the Uvalde school shooting. And so we did talk a lot about that school safety measures that Dr. Lewis mentioned earlier, and then the funding that the state school superintendent is putting into initiatives to make sure that security is being robust across the state. Getting to hear from different parents across the state of Georgia, I learned that a lot of our school districts have a lot of similarities and few differences. When you talk about the more metro counties and then even some of the rural counties, we got to learn about the different functions of the different departments across the state, some of those same functions here in the local school district, where I was able to work alongside of some of the Muscogee County School District departments here to provide a pulse of what the parent voice and community voice here is in the community. And I consider myself an honorary member of the communication social media team. I hope Dr. Chambers says yes because I tag her on Facebook too. All of you, actually. I'm here to also encourage and hope to encourage more parental involvement and community engagement from our parents in schools, community members, hoping to continue to help disseminate information as we're learning to work together for the better outcome of all of our students. I often tell Dr. Vickers Ward and the Family Resource Center team that I am looking to retire in 2027 when my youngest daughter graduates from Jordan Vocational High School. But for now, I will continue to serve as a parent representative for Muscogee County School District, again, looking to help build other parent leaders across this district. My most greatest honor is to be a proud parent of the best and most innovative school district in the state of Georgia. Thank you. Thank you so very much for the update. Thank you, Ms. Cambridge. Ms. Buckman.
Ms. Cambridge, you've been coming to meetings long enough so you know the routine. You came back with your report. We often, as we ask our other people to bring a report and an update, we appreciate you bringing yours also.
Thank you so much, Ms. Buckner. Thank you all for your support. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so now down to the action, what we're all waiting for. 6.01. There's a motion that, okay, motion
Motion to
By Ms.
approve the recommendation.
by Ms. Frey. 2 seconds. Okay, and second by Ms. Chambers. And to approve the recommendation to appoint Ms. LaCrista Thornton to serve as the Executive Director of Programs and Exceptional Students. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote now. All right, that passes. Congratulations.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11, my favorite scripture. To the executive cabinet, even those that are retiring. Dr. Lewis and the school board, I extend my deepest gratitude for this appointment. It is truly an honor to be entrusted with this opportunity to serve as the executive director for the Program for Exceptional Students. I am enthusiastic about the work that lies ahead and looking forward to partnering with all stakeholders to advance the strategic priorities with professionalism, efficiency, and stewardship. Under my leadership, I am confident PES will not only drive meaningful progress, but we will also leave a lasting and positive impact on the lives of our administrators, teachers, staff, and most importantly, the students we are entrusted to serve. So let's get to work. Thank you.
Family.
I got to get on the road to Atlanta to this federal conference. They are back there somewhere.
Call them out. Call them
There
out.
they go. My mom, my children, 2 daughters. My son's
Hey,
in
Mom.
California somewhere. Mom. I see a hand. Yes. And
Congratulations to all of you.
Yes, my Woodall family that I am going to the next level because it's for all students.
That's right.
That's why I'm here.
Thank you so much. Travel safely. Congratulations. Item 6.02, superintendent is recommending the appointment of Emily Steakbaum to serve as Senior Director of Accountability and Research. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Jackson. Any questions? We're ready to vote. Congratulations.
And she is joining us. We're glad to have her, and we're bringing one of our own home. She is a Columbus High graduate, so welcome home.
She's on video.
Somebody's got her on mute. Somebody's on mute.
Okay, we understand the hands are excitement. Do we need to come back? Well, congratulations to you. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Wait, hold. We've got to get her on here.
And if it doesn't work out, because I see the frowny face, we do this every month.
Mr. Jacobson? We'll take 1 minute. It's worth the time.
I tell you what, can we come back to her? We can do this next appointment.
Hold tight.
Yay, I hear you.
I was so worried. I was fretting with my technology. I promise it won't take long since I've already delayed enough, but I am so grateful for the confidence and support of both the board and Dr. Lewis. I don't have anyone there for me. Obviously, I'm not there either. I'm still up in Indianapolis, but I am so excited to be coming back home and making a exciting and triumphant return to Columbus to help kind of come home and give back to where I got started in the field of education. So thank you. Looking forward to it. Already seeing lots of familiar faces in just this one board meeting. So I will see you guys very soon, and thank you again.
Congratulations. Congratulations to you and your family. And welcome home, Ms. Buckner says. Item 6.03, Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Kendall Mills to serve as Director of District-Wide Athletics. Motion by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Chambers. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote now. Motion by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Chambers. All right, that passes. Congratulations. Congratulations, and I apologize in advance because we are some extra special people up here.
Good evening, everyone. I always wondered what it would take to get to this microphone. Thank you, Dr. Lewis, cabinet, board, region chiefs. I want to thank God for this amazing blessing. This is not going to be long. I'm a coach by trade, so I'm not going to beat the shot clock, but I'll get there. So I want to thank Dr. Lewis for his recommendation and vote of confidence. I would like to thank the board members for pressing the right buttons on your controllers. With the technology, I thought something might go wrong, and my heart started pounding there as I was sitting waiting. I want to thank the interview panel and the hiring committee for their vote of confidence as well. There are many people to thank. I'm going to start with my parents. My father's here, Curtis Mills. My mother, Gwendolyn Mitchell, is watching online in Brooklyn, New York. Got a lot of family in New York and California, so we're covering coast to coast tonight.
Yeah.
I want to thank my daughters, Shamika, who is in Fort Worth, Texas. My daughter, Jordan Nejla, who's sitting here as well. My other kids are here. Caitlin, Benny, two of our oldest daughters.
You have to stand up. Yeah.
They'll stand up in a few minutes. I got to thank I'm sorry, Dr. Lewis, my superintendent, my athletic director, and my principal at home, my beautiful wife. I Googled what to say, and it said, make sure you thank those people. But oh my goodness. My mentors, I have one, I did not know he was going to make it. I called Mrs. Wright yesterday, but her and Bobby Wright showed up tonight. She's here for another friend, but I feel like they're here for me. So thank you, Coach Wright, Mr. Bell, Mr. Richburg, because I've been here 21 years, and I've worked with so many people that are in this room. And now I hope to fulfill a dream and exercise a new role in a new capacity to help this school district. Dr. Lewis, I do not take this job lightly. I look forward to collaborating with all academic departments to ensure the needs of the students and student athletes in Muscogee County are met with the highest level. To represent the school district as a true professional and adhere to national and state regulations set by the GHSA, to make sure all our departments are in total compliance on a daily basis. I know my Hardaway family is here or they're outside. I want to thank them as well. They'll stand up. I've got some coaches here, former players. I've coached and taught over thousands of kids every year. As I stated before, I've been at Hardaway 21 years. But as I close, I do have a short story to tell and share. I always dreamed of playing professional sports when I was younger. And I always thought I would be drafted into the NBA. But God saw something different. Maybe it was my height or the skills, but I didn't make it there. But after the interview, I felt like I was in a green room. And I would sit day by day, looking at my phone, making sure the battery wasn't dead, making sure the volume was up if I was doing something else, like waiting for that call. And the other day, the phone rang. It was 8:27 a.m. And it wasn't spam, and it wasn't a bill collector, because they don't call that early sometimes. And something said, answer your phone, dummy. Just answer your phone. And it was Dr. Lewis. And today I feel like a #1 draft pick.
All right, good job.
So my dreams of making it to the NBA, I fell a little short on that, probably a foot shorter. But I feel like a #1 draft pick. In the words of former President Barack Obama, I'm fired up and ready to go. Thank you.
Congratulations to you. Look forward to working with you. 6.04. Superintendent is recommending the appointment of LaKoya Day to serve as principal of the George Washington Carver High School. Motion by Miss Vanessa Jackson, second by Ms. Naomi Buckner. Are there any questions? Vote now. That passes. Congratulations.
Wow, what a moment in time. Dr. Lewis, let me say to you and the board, thank you so very much for the opportunity to be able to come back home. Madam Chair, I just want to make sure that we know it's 3100 8th Street, George Washington Carver.
On the hill.
On the hill.
Yeah.
I do want to say thank you so very much. It means much to be able to come back to where my career started in education, to be able to give back to our students. I'm not one of a lot of words to say, but I just want to work and prove by way of my actions. My parents are here. My dad is here. My mom now sleeps beneath the silent sun. But I'm grateful for my father who is here today. And I, too, have a principal of my house. I'm grateful for my wife, Arnethia.
Let's stand up.
Dylan and Lanaya are here. Will y'all stand? As a Carver graduate, again, it's a big deal to me. Thank you so very much. Again, I say, to be able to come back to give in this institution of learning. I'm grateful for, again, the class of 1996, those who have come to support us in this moment. I'm also grateful, again, for my former boss, my former principal, Ms. Terry Myers, for what she has done for me and giving me the call to aspire into leadership. Not just her, but those who have centered around my circumference. I want to say to them, thank you so very much. There are many people who are here to celebrate this day with me. But I'm grateful for God for the opportunity, and I'm thankful, and I'm ready to go to work, and I'm ready to do what is necessary to take our school to the next level. Thank you to Mr. Lindsay again for his conversation that he has had with me, and I'm grateful to move forward to our next moment of work. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. I see the Carver family is here. Ms. Buckner. Mr. Day.
Mr. Day, this is Ms. Buckner here. I want to say welcome to the Hill.
Item 6.05, Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Daniel Albright to serve as principal of East Columbus Magnet Academy. That motion was by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Jackson. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote now. Congratulations.
This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. All glory and honor to God for his infinite wisdom, unmerited grace, and perfect timing. To the Muscogee County School Board and Dr. Lewis, I extend gratitude for the opportunity to lead and serve our children, families, and community at East Columbus. To my family, Clyde, Jocelyn, Layla, Kalila, Wade, the most precious gifts that God has granted. Thank you for supporting me with patience and love. To my St. John family, to the sisterhood, Alpha Kappa Alpha, true friends, mentors, Terry Myers, if you're in the building, true mentor, and members of the organizations I represent, thank you for being those beacons of light and connection and safe haven for growth. You shared your knowledge, wisdom, prayers, and sound advice, all while serving in your own rights. To the leaders and teachers of Cherokee Nation, my Cherokee family, what a journey we have been on together. I could not wish for a better group of teachers and leaders with whom to have served. To Dr. James, thank you for being a true example of leadership, one who pushes us and champions us, all while reminding us that leaders wear many hats, and to serve means not asking others to do what you are unwilling to do. To the East Columbus family, this moment signifies a true bridging in the community, as we have enjoyed fruitful collaborations in the past. You too have had a tremendous leader in Ms. Magwood, and it is my honor and privilege to step into this role. My heart is full. Thank you in advance for a wonderful journey to come. With our minds and hearts set on children, we will continue the high expectations and achievement and go to the highest heights and do it in the night way. Thank you again, and God bless you all.
Congratulations. Congratulations to you again. Item 6.06, Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Zara Malone to serve as Assistant Principal at Blackman Road Middle School. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Mr. Cantrell. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote now.
Good evening. The book of Job teaches us about patience and humility. I am truly humbled, honored, and blessed to be standing before you all today. Dr. Lewis, board members, region chiefs, and Mr. Church, thank you for entrusting me with this opportunity. There are several individuals that have significantly impacted my career that I must thank. Dr. Reginald Griffin, who hired me 15 years ago, and his wife, Victoria Griffin. Dr. Sechinger, Dr. Holman, Ms. Janella Pendleton, and Ms. Lori Dixon Moore. Your continued mentorship and support is invaluable. And Ms. Tamara Magwood, words cannot express how thankful I am to have been placed under your leadership. Thank you for showing me that I can knock down a door. And to my parents, Sayed and Carmen Hyder, they are traveling today. Hi, Mom and Dad. I am the woman and mother that I am because of everything you have instilled in me. Thank you for always supporting me and standing by my side. And to my children, Deuce, Sydney, Thomas, and Jackson, you are my why, my motivation, and inspiration. I want you to remember this moment. Remember to never give up and to always trust in God's timing. I love you with all my heart. And to my friends and family, my sister Zarina and her family, Victoria Anke, Tiara Countryman, the devastating women of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and the mothers of the Columbus, Georgia chapter of Jack and Jill of America and my New Birth family, thank you for being my village. And to my East Columbus family, Miss McClary and Miss Mitchell, thank you for welcoming me and my children into your kingdom and showing us what the night way of living is. To my new Blackman Road family, I am excited to pursue this next chapter as we pursue academic excellence. Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Great job. Look forward to working with you. 6.07, Superintendent is recommending the appointment of Latavius Watts to serve as Assistant Principal at the George Washington Carver High School. Motion by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Chambers. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote now. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. First off, I would like to thank Dr. Lewis and the members of the board for giving me this amazing opportunity. The credit for all this goes to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, none of this is possible. What I found through him is what many people will never discover, and that is my passion for giving back, teaching, and mentoring the youth. To the mother of my children and my lifelong friend, Patrice, thank you. Without you, none of this is possible. Thank you to my mom, my dad, my children, my friends, my family, and my support system, which is amazing. To my friend, my mentor, my principal, and my boss, the king of the hill, Christopher Lindsay, thank you for this full circle moment. I know you have great expectations for me, and I will not fail you. To my extended family, my Carver family, alumni, staff, I look forward to continuing our hard work and dedication to our students. The genuine love and support that we give to every child that walks the halls of Carver High School will never go unnoticed. With the new addition of Principal Day, all three administrators are Carver grads, and that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes of the love and support and dedication that will enter that building every day as we give back to our youth. Thank you all again. Go Tigers.
Congratulations. In what class are you? 2008. So that means, Mr. Lindsay, you were the principal? You were the principal, right? 2000. Full circle moment. Okay. Congratulations. Go Tigers. 6.08. Superintendent is recommending the approval of Ms. Lynn Hall Green as the assistant principal for Downtown Elementary Magnet Academy. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Frey. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote. That passes. Congratulations.
Good evening.
Now we know why the other legend is here. Miss
Now
Juanita
you know
Booker.
why.
Yeah, now we know why. Okay.
Yes. Giving honor to God, the head of my life. To the board, Superintendent Lewis, our region chiefs, and our education community, thank you for this incredible opportunity to step into the role of assistant principal. I am deeply committed to supporting our students, staff, and families at Downtown Engineering Magnet Academy. I'm standing on the strong shoulders of many persons, to include my parents, the late Leon Hall and Veronis Bolden Hall, my sister, who's here, Dr. Jan Egan's Hildreth, my godmother, Juanita Carson Booker, my husband, the Reverend Roderick Bryan Green, my First African Baptist Church family, my sorors of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, my principal, Dr. Dwayne Wizard, who encouraged me, and my assistant principal, Miss Latasha Stigger, who has mentored me. I look forward to the journey ahead, supporting Dr. Tawana Wiggins and the DEMA team. Thank you.
Outstanding. Congratulations. Congratulations. That's outstanding. Outstanding. .09, superintendent is recommending the appointment of Hurston Pittman to serve as assistant principal at Gentian Elementary School. Motion by Mr. Cantrell, second by Ms. Jackson. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote now. All right, congratulations. Is he here? Is he here? He's out of town. Okay. He's at a conference. Okay, well, congratulations. 6.10 is the assistant recommendation to appoint Mr. Michael Smith to serve as assistant principal at Richards Middle School. Motion by Ms. Sly, second by Ms. Buckner. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote now. Congratulations. Go Richards family. Y'all have a lot to celebrate. Congratulations,
Good evening.
sir.
Thank you, thank you. I don't have a lot to say except thank you. I want to first and foremost just thank God for his sovereignty and his provision in all of this. I'd like to thank Dr. Lewis for his recommendation, the board for your approval. I'd like to thank Mr. Matt Bell for giving me my first teaching job and then instilling in me so much wisdom over the past few years. I'd like to thank Dr. Wizard and the Richards Middle School administration for their confidence and what they've placed in me. I'd like to thank my family, my mom, my dad, especially my wife and my son who are here. And I'd also like to thank my church family just for all the love and support they pour out in me. So, Muscogee County, thank you for your support. I'm a product of Muscogee County, and so I'm looking forward to giving back to this school district in whatever way I can. So I'm ready to get to work. Thank you all.
Congratulations. All right, that's all the appointments. Item 6. No, okay. Item 6.11 is the naming of the Media Center at the George Washington Carver High School as the Christopher B. Lindsay Media Center for Academic Excellence. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Buckner. Are there any questions? We're ready to vote now. Congratulations. Is there a word? Would someone like to say anything? Otherwise, congratulations. Mr. Lindsay. Thank you, okay. Man, a few words, man, a few words. Congratulations. Also, the George Washington Carver family has had a lot to celebrate tonight. Congratulations. Mr. Lindsay, we wish you best wishes on your retirement. Yeah, and your new endeavor. Ms. Buckner.
Mr. Lindsay, I think congratulations. Mrs. Green was trying to congratulate you or give you best wishes on your retirement and congratulations on your new appointment.
And if y'all hadn't had a chance to meet the new head coach, Mr. Jarvis Jones, wave your hand. Head football coach, welcome back home. All right. Now, 612 is the update, Chance Light update.
Yes, ma'am. After the last work session, there were some questions regarding the Chance Light contract. So we're going to give you an updated presentation from the one conducted at our board retreat in March. So this will be an updated version of that presentation.
Yep. Okay. Dr. Lewis, thank you for having us again. Board, good to see you. Esteemed cabinet members, we're coming back to you to talk about our behavior supports program, which is definitely something that I love to talk about and I'm excited about always. My name is Victoria Robinson. I'm the Behavior Supports Program Manager for our district. And this is Ryan Schweck. He is our lead board certified behavior analyst for the Behavior Supports Program.
So currently, numbers from Godot are indicating approximately 20% of Georgia's students with disabilities need those intensive mental health or behavior supports. Oh. Okay. Oh, it's going to open again.
Excuse me, Dr. Forte, could you ask them to either quiet or let the exit? We just got to be able to hear, conduct business. Or that.
I could go use my behavior support class or voice. The ones where they all sit down real fast and go, oh, Mr. Ryan's here. So what studies are showing, particularly after 2020, we've seen a larger increase. The current Godot numbers are 20% of our students with disabilities require intensive mental health supports and behavior supports, just above those regular accommodations. With that, like I said, there's been that significant increase, and only about half of those students, according to the Department of Education, have been getting those mental health services in order for them to access the educational environment. We have been fortunate, way back in 2018 under Dr. Lewis's leadership and the board, built the behavior support program, which has put us far ahead of most districts within the state. We actually have had, this year alone, I think 4 districts within the state come see our model. Other districts from out of state have come and seen it, and there have been some that adopt what we have done. It's very surreal to get an IEP from out of district and you recognize your own setup in it. Like, I looked at it and I was like, well, that's real well written. And I went, oh, that's because I did it. Like, that's good to see. As we all know, with special education teachers, we're in a shortage right now. Most special education programs have dropped approximately 20%, while our demand, the increase has gotten huge. The Bureau of Labor is saying that we're projecting a 3% growth rate for positions needed, but enrollment rates and preparation is not keeping pace with that demand. We do use alternative prep programs like GTAP, but with a program like ours, it requires such specialized interventions. It requires not only finding a person that wants to do this, which can be few and far between sometimes, but also has the skills to be able to work with these students.
So before I go over where our program layout is, I do want to say that we have with us here Dr. DeConsiglio, who is Vice President of Chancellite, and Dr. Roger Williams, who's our On the Boots Ground with Us Director. They're here with us. And I do want to say this is going to be our last presentation with Dr. Vickers-Ward, who spearheaded this along with us. And I just want her to know that I appreciate everything that she has done to pour into this program and the students and their successes because of you also. When we look at our sites, we are located across the district. We have 5 classrooms that are at Gentian. We have 4 classrooms at the new Mary Buckner Academy. We have 2 classrooms at Allen Elementary. At Blackman Road Middle, we have 2 classrooms. At Midland Middle, we have 2 classrooms. At Double Churches Middle, we have 3 classrooms. Our high schools are Shaw with 2 classrooms, Kendrick with 3, and Northside with 2. For K through 12, we have a therapeutic day program that is located on the Marshall Success Center campus. It's our wing that we support our students that have the most intensive need at that site. And again, that's driven through their IEP. But those are our particular locations of where our program is now. When you look at the support that we have across the district, I'm very proud of our team. Our team works collaboratively. We have been in partnership with Chancellite for 6 years now. And we have grown a strong team that works collaboratively together and picks up the slack where it's needed and supports the kids. We have data that shows that our supports are making a difference in the lives of kids and also making a difference in our budget lines because we have saved some money.
So obviously, as a behavior analyst, the data is the most important to me. And what our data shows is what we're doing is being successful. In the last school year, we had 100% course pass rate. We had 100% of our students that were in 12th grade graduated. And just as a follow-up from the board retreat, our student that we showcased in the video, we've spoken to him. He's started his vocational program, which is really exciting. Last year, before data shows, there were 481 OSS days for these students, so out of school suspension. Last year, we had 0 students over 10 OSS days, and we'll talk about why that's important in a little while. But what I think is the most important number, we had 14% of our students transition to a lesser restrictive environment. These are students that are going from the day program back to a general education school. Also students that are going from specialized behavior supports to back into their home school. And we continue to support them through our board certified behavior analysts. And I always like to share, the personal stories, but I think one of the ones that really hit home, we had a student that came from Chicago this year. And he came in with pretty intensive services and was served at our therapeutic day school. And through our team, he worked with our mental health therapist, and we were going to move him back to he was actually going to Mary Buckner. Y'all actually met him. His dad told me that his previous school told him he would never be around normal students again. And so we have been able to move these students back to their peers and really give these kids a fighting chance.
So this is something that I am so super proud of, and it is a lot of hard work that has been done by the team in behavior supports. When we look at our special ed report card, we have indicators that are related to discipline, and they're related to suspension over 10 days for students with disabilities and ethnicities for over 10 days. If you don't meet your indicators, you lose money. Well, because of our program and a lot of intensive training and supports that we've been able to provide, we met that indicator, and we would have lost 15% of our budget, which would have been $1,300,000, and we did not lose that. So we met that and saved that money. And again, that goes across the piece to our interrelated side, our classes, and supports across the district, along with professional development for teachers. And these are just some educational partnership advantages. One of the big pieces of ChanceLight is they're able to meet our staffing needs. We have struggled, and we still struggle, with finding teachers that want to take on this job. We still have current vacancies on the Muscogee County side that we work very hard to fill, but oftentimes we have teachers that will leave us and go into a different area because it's a tough job. But ChanceLight is always able to maintain a low turnover rate and also to provide us with those skilled teachers who want to be in this area. We also are able to effectively have staff transition across all our sites. That is important because if a crisis occurs, you need more than just who you have in the building. So it's a very valuable asset for us because we can pick up the phone and say, hey, we've got a crisis at Blackman Road, and the staff is on the way to support. Financially, this is a very big, important piece, and this is the biggest piece along with saving our $1,300,000. We have 47 students that are at our therapeutic day program. These are kids that come in with residential facility treatments in their IEPs. So whatever county they came from said that they needed residential treatment and they were being served in that. We don't have to send our kids away. We get to take them into our program at the therapeutic day, keep them at home with their families, support them, and if we had to provide a residential treatment facility for those kids, you're looking at about $200,000 if you can find a bed for each kid. So that in itself is a savings of, $9,400,000 annually, because these kids have to be served. And even if we did find a treatment facility for them to be served in, we're still responsible for them. We're responsible for their progress. We're responsible for their education, even if they're in Atlanta or if they're in another state, along with paying for it. But here, we keep them here, we take care of them, we give them the skills that they need, and we give them an opportunity to make it.
I do want to say that that is the one compliment that I hear mostly from the school buildings is the partnership where someone can come over to assist, because that's some specialized training and specialized skill set, and teachers already have to teach a class. And so for someone to come over from ChanceLight while they can continue to work with their class is the biggest compliment that I hear, over and over and over all the time. And there is no value, there is no amount of money you can place on being able to serve every single student. This is public education, and we have to service them. As you said, it's required by law. And I do want to thank you all and commend you for this collaboration and the effort and the great job and the results. So thank you so very much.
I was just going to simply say I appreciate the partnership with ChanceLight. They've been responsive to our needs from a staffing standpoint, whatever the situation. I can always get Mark by phone, and I appreciate his timeliness and his responsiveness. And so I do appreciate that. And whenever we do have a problem, we can work through it, discuss it, and get it resolved in a very timely fashion that ultimately benefits the students and, of course, their families as well. So thank you for that.
Any questions? I'm sorry.
Yes, that's what I was waiting on as well. I just have a couple of questions. Can you pull the PowerPoint back up and go back to like page 2, I think, right here. I wanted to just clarify, at this different sites, there's 5 classrooms, 4 classrooms, 2 classrooms. Can you explain to me, is that 5 classrooms that you're servicing or 5 classrooms dedicated to Chancellite?
So an example, if you look at Gentian where it has the 5 classrooms, we have a mix of Muscogee County classrooms and Chancellite classrooms that are at each location. And because we have that mix, we can use the support staff across all the classrooms. So if I have 2 classrooms that are located at Mary Buckner and that staff needs support, we're all one team. So it is a mix at Allen, and I can go through if you'd like me to go through the specific ones.
I'm just trying to understand logistically what that looks like. For example, do you have 5 classrooms that are filled with kids that are strictly Chancellite students?
So it depends on each site.
Okay.
Most sites, there is, like if there's 5 classrooms for Gentian particularly, there is 1 Chancellite classroom that is located at Gentian. The rest are Muscogee County, with Muscogee County teachers. At Allen, we have 1 Muscogee County class and 1 Chancellite class. The Chancellite classrooms are our self-contained classrooms that the kids are not ready yet to transition out. There are higher level of behaviors or higher level of physicality that you're going to see in the verbal aggression. And that's the group that they support in the buildings. But they also, again, if you were to walk into the building and see the classes, they're together and it's one team. So it doesn't feel like we have 2 separate groups. We're all supporting the kids together, but those are kids who have identified the need for service through their IEP.
Okay.
So these kids have had an IEP meeting that said, the team determined that they need this level of service and they have to go to these classrooms.
Okay.
And additionally, if you, like an example like Gentian, while there is the classroom that has the teacher and the paraprofessionals from Chancellite, Chancellite's also provided, and at all sites, the licensed mental health therapist who sees all the kids within our program, behavior techs, and also behavior analysts.
And they're on site 100% of the time, or they have?
So at the day school, there are mental health therapists there 100% of the time.
Okay.
There are some sites that we split a mental health therapist with 2 schools. It depends on the needs, but there's always someone there at least half the week, if not more, because the students receive mental health services within their IEP. It's kind of written like speech services. They get one-on-one, 30 minutes a week for some students, again, depending on their need. But that's also something that's very unique that we do as a district that is not offered in other places I've seen.
Okay, and my other question, if you would go to the next slide, I believe, right here. You have the support continuum, and in some places you have Muscogee County School District program manager, and then in some places you have Chancellite director. Where you have Muscogee County School District, are we responsible for the payroll for those individuals?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have a third-party contract with you all, and you all are responsible for Chancellite employees. But then we're also responsible for how many employees of Muscogee County School District that we're still responsible for that participate in this program.
So you have, again, on that piece, you have the program manager, you have the lead BCBA. We do have board certified behavior analysts on our side that go into interrelated. That's where a lot of the support for your gen ed teachers comes from, for your interrelated special education teachers comes from in their training, because that's our Muscogee County group that can go further into that and support. We do have 17 behavior supports teachers. That is the same number of what we started with. We have not gained any since then, but that group is the group that takes care of our transition classes. And those are our classes where they're going back into gen ed and back into co-taught, and they need that additional support like a resource room. And then with our, we also have classes that support students who have intellectual disabilities, who also have intensive behaviors. And that's all our Muscogee County group. So again, we
Okay,
have
and does that group service Muscogee County kids as well as the kids that are in Chanceline?
they're all served, we're all, we get, all of our kids are Muscogee County kids.
Right,
We serve everybody.
So, I
okay,
think I know too. So, we are Muskogee County employees.
okay,
strictly, yes.
right.
So Victoria is the Muskogee County Program Manager and PES for behavior supports, and I'm the lead behavior analyst for the county.
Right.
We serve within the county, not only our students, ensuring that they're receiving the education of the students that are in Chancellite, but we also provide supports for students that are interrelated. So if you have a kid that's co-taught at East Columbus Magnet and they have, some concerns, behavioral concerns, our behavior analysts will go out and help provide supports
Sounds
there.
good.
We provide trainings for the whole district, including general education and everybody.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. I was trying to get a feel for how many students we're servicing through the Chance Light program, and then the actual bottom line cost. And I know that may take, I know we have a contract, and the contract is one amount, but if we are also on top of the contract, having some Muscogee County School District personnel dedicated to that program, then that's a cost as well. Can you email us, and I guess I'm looking at you, Janice, can you email us, what is the total cost all in for this program? And just for FYI purposes, because I know when we first started, we've been talking about sort of making a transition where at some point, Muscogee County is responsible for this program. So I was just trying to get an idea of how many students we're actually able to serve, and then what is the all-in cost for the program? Outside of the, yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
So you will get a bottom line dollar amount. Some of the indirect costs that you will not see is what's occurring now in the classroom. So when you look in the general ed classroom and the students those 47 students that were in the general ed classroom, some of the things that we were hearing about 8 years ago from the principals and what have you is that the teachers aren't able to go in and teach the classroom. So what you probably will not see in that bottom line dollar is the morale and just the atmosphere within the schools. So just please keep that in mind, remembering our why, because 8 years ago, principals, schools, teachers, they were like really, really wanting some help.
Absolutely.
And this team and a few others and principals flew out to California and saw the model. One of the things that I truly appreciate about Chance Light, and as others have come here to visit, is that they see the collaboration, the partnership, and that they, even though this is the model, they extend the support and help within all of those schools that they're there. So just kind of keep those factors in mind as well.
Let me ask you a question. And definitely, I see the benefit. I've always been a component of the therapeutic day school. But when we first signed up for the contract, we kept saying we were going to, at some point, take it over.
Yes.
Realistically, could we financially and physically take over the program? That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of with those two questions.
And I understand that. Very, very important is the building of capacity.
Right.
Because that's one of the things, and excuse my voice, that's one of the things that we really, really talked about. But when you look at the national trend that's going across the nation regarding the shortages in special education, I've gone to a few campuses looking, even right here in Columbus and in Atlanta, trying to find individual students, and they're not there. The number is getting less and less each and every year. So until that curve shifts,
we can't.
We can't. But I think I have to give truly kudos to Victoria and Ryan, because they're so passionate.
Oh, they
And,
are. They always are.
Folks have tried to steal them away from
Yes,
Muscogee, but they're
right.
committed to Muskogee.
Right.
And the partnership that we have with Mark, with Chance Light, that by far, we are leading across the nation with how we service these students and not having them to go to the various places, and then we're having to pay for that. So will it come eventually? But the tide has to turn on the collegiate level with producing these students to come into our K-12 environment, because we just don't
They're
have
not there.
And
Okay.
Dr. Chambers, I can share, sustainability is a big thing. We did try to move to 2 separate sites, being Muscogee County only. And what we found in that process was we lost staff and we couldn't keep staff, and it became unsafe for the kids that were there. So we had to revert back to the collaborative model in both of those sites. The Chance Light staff comes in with, they are willing to do the hard work. And they're willing to put the love and the effort into the kids that are the toughest to deal with. And a lot of our group are, you have less teachers that are going into the special ed field.
Yes.
And teachers who are going into the special ed, field, if they have a choice of, I want to go to work with this particular population, or I want to go to work and get cussed at every day, they might choose, to be with the other group. But we have had sustainability with Chance Light, and they've always had the staff there who cares and loves and is certified and there for our kids. And it was difficult when we tried to move to the Muscogee County only model, as we
So
didn't
we
keep
have
staff.
tried that
We
before?
have, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Since we started with this contract?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So originally, it sounds like that plan is not gonna work, at least now, not now. So, but I still would like to know the information.
Absolutely.
About how many kids we are able to service and what is the true cost of the entire program. Okay?
So the sites that you had on there, that also helps us to meet the GNET requirement of making sure the students are integrated with
Correct.
general population.
Yes, ma'am.
And so that was very important, because those were some very costly nicks that we've gotten in the past, which is why the tremendous research went into how we can service and meet the needs of all of our students, and also be in compliance
And
with the
normally we
law.
bring forth just the specific information about the Chance Light side. The Muscogee County side has not changed since 2018. We have not increased or decreased any of that group. It is the same number. Now, we've had some rotation in staff of who has applied and stayed, but it's the same number.
Sorry, thank you. And one of the reasons for having this presentation again was just because it's important. It is a contract that we started with the idea it was only going to be for a few years. It has been renewed more than that, and we think it's very important for the taxpayers and publicly to hear what we're getting, not just have it as an item on that got, approved with some other stuff. So that was a lot of the reason for bringing y'all back. And
Absolutely, and I
appreciate that.
love to talk about it.
Because again, we want the public to know everything that's going on that we know too. I did have a question when I was kind of looking at the contract. Like the contract says 7 classrooms with up to 9 students, which would be about 63 students. So are we paying for that even if we're not fully utilizing 63? Because we mentioned 47 earlier.
So we have, again, we have such a rotating population. And again, our goal is for them not to stay at therapeutic day. So our goal is to get them in and move them back to their zone school. We continuously have rotating students in and out. The number 47 was what we're left with before enrollment starts for us to come in at the beginning of the year. We do max up to those numbers, and we try to move them out and get them back to that zone school. Some are not quite ready and they stay there with us, but we have a continuous roll in and roll of the kids.
And I think what would be helpful, and it kind of tacks on what Dr. Chambers said, it's just a little breakdown of what, again, we saw a lot that these people are provided by Chance Light, this is provided by ours. I'm a money person, I like to see, what certain positions cost, what we're kind of paying for them. I think seeing more of that background would help.
And
Right now
even,
would be
even from our
helpful.
Muscogee County side, those students that are served in that resource model, the transition model, those are written into the IEP. And we would have to provide those teachers, and their
Right, no,
teachers.
I get, I think I just better want to understand, yeah, the breakdown of what we're getting for
Absolutely.
the contract. Thank you.
So, is it difficult to do that breakdown? My understanding from listening to you is that these kids are so intertwined, that you have Muscogee, Chance Light, and it sounds like, as you were saying, you are serving kids.
Yes, ma'am.
And they go from their Muscogee, when you serve them, it sounds to me that you're serving kids. So I know we need to know that because we were, at one point, we did decide that Dr. Vickers has told us that, told us what we already know, how difficult it is to get SPED teachers. So I'm just having, and I'm glad for the presentation because I got an understanding of how we're moving kids, how we're just serving kids collaboratively, and how they, we're not necessarily doing Muscogee, but, so how do you break that down when you say Muscogee Chance Lights kids, when you have them going crosswalk? How do you do
So
that?
all students are Muscogee County students. Their IEP drives which classroom they're going to be served in. And as they meet their goals, we're moving them again up that continuum back to that zone school. So it really is the IEP that drives them. They're all Muscogee County kids. They're all our kids.
Yeah, because I was, the cost for the Muscogee kid, let's say, and the Muscogee kids, if they need it, they're getting Chance Light services.
Yes,
So-
yes.
So then that's a cost right there. You know, when they ask the Chance Lights cost versus the Muscogee cost, everything to me sounds like it's intermingled,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
that's, quote, a Muscogee kid. Okay, you got a Chance Lights kid who has, who is funded for Chance Light. However, Muscogee County kid is also receiving service for Chance Light. That's why I'm saying it seems to me that's difficult, but I'll let y'all figure that out. But it just seems to me that that's kind of difficult to figure out when you're serving kids. Kids are intertwined, and I do like that. I got a better understanding of how you work collaboratively. But I did have two questions.
Yes, ma'am.
This is just for my own personal information. The therapeutic kids, that therapeutic day kid.
Yes.
K-12, K through 12.
Yes, ma'am.
How many K kids we have? Kindergarten kids. Do we actually have
Yes.
kindergarten kids?
Yes.
in
Yes,
these,
yes. So this coming up year, we have two that moved up to first grade. So last year, we had two kindergartners. Unfortunately, students are being diagnosed very early with mental health disabilities. And oftentimes, it's very difficult to support those kids in the house. And so they come very aggressive.
What I'll say about our younger students, and it is a concern that we, we do have these students that are this young. A lot of times the students that are that young, a lot of times the students that are that young are coming from pretty severely traumatic backgrounds. Most often they involve some sort of abuse. And so they need those extra therapeutic supports because at that, point, they aren't, just being in the general education environment is too much. And unfortunately, sometimes that abuse causes them to engage in abuser activity. And so we'll get students from residential facilities, even at that young, that have orders and psychosexual reports that say the student is unable to be around other students their age without this much adult supervision. And when that comes into us as a district, we have to serve it.
And the second question. So our residential, all the money that we're saving as we serve our residentials, we don't serve them in residential sites, but we serve them here in Muscogee County. So they go to the therapeutics.
Yes.
Now.
Yep.
When they go home, are we finished? You know, because in the
No.
residential
So,
program,
so it's very interesting. We do, we have our great mental health therapists help work with parents and families to get them wraparound services. A lot of our kids are participating in the LIPT process, where they get those outside services from, the private mental health doctors. But we help support in that connection and setup for them. But when they're with us for the 6 hours, that's when we're providing that educational piece to them. But we provide the parents with multiple resources to help them, because the more stable they are at home, the better it is for them when they come to school.
And I will say also, almost all of our licensed mental health therapists that Chance Light brings are also social workers. And so they help bridge that gap between home services and if the child has DFACS involvement or any other things like that, we bring them to the table.
okay, so when you're figuring out your costs for Chance Life, if these are, quote, Muscogee kids, then if they're being serviced by Chance Life social workers or, once again, that financial piece is intertwined when you're, so when you're doing this, the costs, or when you're trying to separate costs, that's what I'm saying, that's a whole another way, difficulty in separating.
Correct.
Because the Chance Light people are serving the Muscogee people, so good luck on y'all trying to do that.
I hear what you're saying, Ms. Buckner, because it's not just a partnership, it's also a relationship. And so when we have Chance Light people in the building, if there's an episode or a crisis, they may not be assigned to the Chance Light classroom, but the Chance Light skilled professionals will intervene so that the teacher can maintain the order and the student can get the services and the reboot, I guess, if you will, to help them regulate themselves. And so those kinds of relationships have a value that we can't cost out. But for the sake of answering the question, contractually, what do we say the ones and twos are, the X's and the O's? So I appreciate that partnership, yeah.
She said she's gonna send that.
Yeah, I appreciate the partnership and the relationship, because at the end of the day, we have to service and educate all of the students. And they are capable of learning. They just need some specifically skilled supports in place in those wraparound services that go with them when they leave for the school day.
I just want to thank and commend the board for seeing the need and addressing it, because the idea is to move children to their least restrictive environment. And I think, and rather than referring to them as a Muscogee County kid versus a Chance Light kid, it's more about the service that can change from day to day.
Right.
If a child is in one environment and they're able to regulate themselves and can move to a least restrictive environment, they just move from the Chance Light service to an MCSD service model, I guess is probably the best way I can explain it, rather than the children themselves, because it's going to be, it vacillates from day to day depending on their needs and the services we can provide. And certainly when we can move those children from a therapeutic day school to something that's a more least restrictive environment, that's a win. Because I can tell you, in speaking with some of the superintendents who've called me, and I'll just tell you what they're referring to it, they said, all we're doing is warehousing kids. And that's exactly the term they often use. We don't have the services to serve these children. So we're just warehousing them, putting them in something that's a self-contained environment, but it's really not serving their needs. And we've got to find and do better. And that's something that I'm really proud of, that you all have supported this initiative. And again, I would say not even from the standpoint of also cost savings, I'll go out, so it's a cost avoidance. When you look at what we're talking about here, in terms, I think the number was $4.9 million just for the residential kids. That's if you can find a bed. The last time we looked, which is about 3 years ago, there was one bed in all of Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina. That means those children, where are they if they're not in that one bed? What's happening? The families don't know what to do. Schools don't know what to do. And nobody knows how to serve them. And nobody is, unless you have something like this that can help provide that capacity. And I'm hopeful that down the road, we can continue to work toward becoming self-perpetuating in the parts of this program that we all envisioned initially. But until we get more people going to education in general and specifically into special ed, it's going to be a challenge. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
And we, by the way, we are so blessed and fortunate, not only by the partnership with Chance Light, but to have Victoria and Ryan. They are, we talked about, yeah, absolutely. And all the staff they work with, their commitment is exceptional. And I would challenge each board member to take time in your schedule to go out and look at the work that they are doing. And I think it will provide a better insight into what is going on a daily basis with those children and moving them to more successful opportunities.
In fact, at one of the transition programs, one of the parents, who is actually an MCSD employee, a grandparent, we're just giving all of the thanks and accolades because no one would help them. No one would help them before. And to see how that student had progressed from tearing it all down to being a leader in the program and able to build it back up. And so I would just, it was very emotional, but she was just so thankful. And I told her, you should just come get on public agenda sometime, because sometimes the public think that we are wasting the money, and it's money well spent because the children deserve it. So thank you all again for everything that you do. The children and the families deserve that support. (613), Superintendent is recommending the approval of the FY26 budget, all funds as presented. Are there any questions? 13, need a motion and a second, and then take your questions. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Buckner. Questions? Gotcha.
So within the budget, we're giving a 3% raise to all employees, correct? And I'm thinking about the teacher scale. So the teachers get a bump up when they have another year of service. So they're still going to get their year of service, and then the 3% is on top of that, and they're still getting their stipend. Isn't there
You mean step raise?
no, step raise, and then I thought that there was an amount that the state paid, and then Muscogee County gives a little more.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
have our local.
Right, the local supplement.
You said stipend, okay.
Stipend, supplement, I apologize. But I want to make sure that we're clear that they're still getting their supplement, they're getting their step raise, and we're putting in the budget an extra 3%. So is that correct? Would you, yes?
As well as the contribution for TRS.
Yes.
Of course.
That is correct. That what actually happens is the state salary scale is not changing this year because the state did not change that. So what we're doing is we're actually increasing that local supplement by 3% of the total salary. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
So the base supplement.
You want to turn your mic back on?
Yes, I'm sorry. So the base supplement is on that scale. So we're going to put an extra 3% into that supplement.
Right.
So I get it. I get it. Now, once you do that, can you do this for me? Can you send me a copy of the old scale and then a copy of the scale with the 3% increase?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And is that supplement the same across the board?
It's not the same exact amount. I'd have to go back and, it's an incremented amount.
And it depends on the degree also, right?
Right.
Right, yeah. Well, I know I had an email last Monday with some questions, and I know it's too late for this voting on this budget. I don't think it's too late. Nothing's ever too late for the fiscal year. And it's something I'd like to look some more at looking at what the cost would be.
And we did send that to
today. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Anyway, I had not heard anything back, so I didn't know that. But that's something that I just want to put out there as I vote for this, that I really, and I think others too, would like to look some more at what we might can do for our teachers. Because as we've heard, we do a lot of third-party vendors for areas where there are shortages. We spend additional funds to be able to shore up those shortages. And I feel strongly that our teachers, we are facing shortages, and we need to look at doing more to help recruit and retain them. And like most of us, money is the best way to do that. And so thank you. I'll take a look at that information.
Well, just so we can be clear, you're talking about teachers, or are you talking about everybody?
I'm talking about teachers.
You're talking specifically about teachers. Well, then I would say that if we have any opportunity to look at not just a certain group of employees, to look at all of the employees, because the cost of living impacts everybody, and particularly our least paid employees.
And that's why we did a 3%, but I think we can still look at some other, I mean, we've done it before for other categories.
Hold on, let me turn your mic on.
When there was a need, when there were shortages. Again, that's why we did 3% across the board, was to help with everybody. But I'd like to, and again, I can't do anything. If 5 members of the board don't want to do it, we won't do it. But I think we at least should look at some of the financials and what we might could do to help our classroom teachers. Because again, these are a lot of the people that have, I mean, they went to school to get this degree. They've committed themselves to this career. We don't want to lose them to other places based on, some money, or make them feel stuck. And I don't think there's anything wrong. It happens in the corporate world all the time. Sometimes some people get a bump up to help them stay competitive, or to help them recruit and help in areas of need. So
Now, your email, in the email you sent, you did include you said 3,000 to 4,000 for teachers, and then a 3% for everybody else. So you did not leave anybody off.
Right. No, I always meant 3 for everybody, just maybe looking, because for a lot of our teachers, I mean, I can't say the average pay, but if you make $50,000, a 3% raise is only $1,500. And spread that across 12 months, they're not going to see much difference in their paycheck. And so I would like to just look at some finances and some ideas of how to possibly improve that, because we have spent a lot of money in a lot of different areas, and to me, I feel strongly this is one we need to come back to.
This year, are you talking about?
Yeah, I'd just like to do it for this year.
Because I looked at that and I thought, I thought it was a pretty good idea too, but I was wondering why you hadn't mentioned it earlier, like.
We talked about
I'm
it.
sorry, I've had a lot going on this month. I was moving a child the week of the meeting, and so then I followed it up that next Monday, and then we got more today, so.
Were you meaning like when there was the small group meetings? Mentioned that earlier when we had the small group meetings.
See, I didn't listen.
No, I didn't at that time. I sometimes with me, I do have to sit and ponder things a little bit, and I'm not always as timely with my ideas, but.
Because I was just saying, like, if you had mentioned it earlier, it would have been on the serious consideration.
But it would have to, yes, and it is still a serious consideration, but if you're going to go back and look at the cost, I want all of the information. What is it going to cost to do this recommendation? What is it going to cost to look at everybody? Because what I do know, and yes, people who go to school and work in their careers and their fields, we want to retain them. But what I do know is that people who work in the cafeteria can work 40 years and barely have $400 a year retirement out of that public education retirement. That's what I do know. And so those are the least paid employees, and we want to retain them all. We have third-party vendors to serve children in the cafeteria, to clean the buildings, because those employees are able to go work someplace else, fast food, and make more money than they can with the Muscogee County School District. And so I think that if we're going to look at it, for me, I like for things to be balanced and consistent and fair for all employees. I value them all, and I'm sure that we value them all. We can't operate without all the members of the team.
I think we should look at
Can I?
all of them too, but now, let's
my
just be
button's
clear that the retirement for classified people, that's an issue with the state. We can't do anything about what the state pays for classified people, even though we, every year, that's on our priority list. Every single year, we put that on our priority list, that something is done about their retirement and about that insurance, because as you said, most of the time, what they make, their salary, oftentimes, for some employees, can't even pay their insurance. So we're still working on that part, but I do know we have been specific in, we have at times been specific in certain groups, as we did with bus drivers. At one time, we identified bus drivers as a crucial employee, and we did, in fact, give bus drivers more money than we,
And
more
parapros.
substantial ways. So we have identified different people, and we still identify special ed teachers because they make, they get a stipend for being special ed. So we have identified specific groups. Now, whether we want to identify teachers as a specific group, like you said, we have to look at it. But we have in the past identified specific groups, and it's something that we can look at, you know, as you said, look at all of it, as you said, but we have identified specific groups.
Okay. Are you finished, Ms. Buckner?
Yes.
And I know we have a difference of opinion because we've talked about this several times. And I do believe that everyone on this board values every employee for Muscogee County School District. But I do think that sometimes when we say, well, if we're going to give a raise, we have to give it to everybody. And then that number comes back so large that we end up giving no one a raise. I believe that we can take the teachers this time and say, okay, if we add $3,000 more to the stipend, everybody's getting the 3%. But if we give the teachers an extra $3,000 or whatever that number is, add it to the supplement, then I believe we'll be able to retain teachers, we'll be able to get new teachers coming in. And we have done it for the bus drivers, but we also, just last year, we did a raise just for parapros. So we do just a segment of the Muscogee County School District all the time. We've given the superintendent a raise and not given the teachers a raise. So we do pick and choose and give raises to certain segments. And I agree with what Lori just said, that I think it's time that we look at our teachers in particularly, and definitely give the 3% to everyone, but also look at giving something to the teachers. My question about Chance Light was really to find out, can we really deliver on what we said? What we said was we were going to do this $20-something million contract for 3 years, and then we were going to transition and let Muscogee County teachers do it. But if there's a teacher shortage, we physically can't do that. And if the program is working, I get it. We have to keep it. We have to hold on to it. But if we offer these incentives, perhaps we can hold on to the teachers we have, and then also get new teachers, brand new teachers, and get more people to go into education. Because if they're going into school and they're saying, oh my goodness, I only make $30,000 when I get, and I'm just throwing out that number, then they're not going to go into education. But if we can see that, hey, come to Muscogee County, we have provided some supplements here, then I think it's going to help us in the long run. So I'm an advocate for everyone definitely getting a raise. We just don't have to do it at one time, because I don't want a large number to keep us from providing more income for our teachers.
Now, I am for the teacher raise. However, let me go back. I'm for the teacher raise when you say about the large number. I'm also for, I don't see why we have to make a difference in that. How we, if we're for the teacher raise, then we're for the teacher raise. I don't see why we just not be for the, I think she was just talking about in this particular instance. I don't think Lori was saying that, and, not giving the other people their 3%, She was talking about, I thought you were saying that we don't have a large, I thought you were saying a large, yeah, they get there, she was just saying the teachers, that's what I'm saying. And as I said, we have identified in the past some specific groups, so, but whatever, they have to bring that information back, as Ms. Green has said, that we need to look at the whole thing, so.
Madam Chair, I agree with, pretty much what everybody said, but is it any way they can bring back how much it would be for everybody, and then how much?
That was my question. If you're going to do the research, bring us
Right, I
all
want
the
to know,
information.
I want to do, if you can bring back all of it for us so that we would know.
And let me,
For both.
9 million.
That's for everybody, 9 million.
So I just need direction, because what we provided you based on the previous request was you have an approximation, just an approximation of what it would cost for a $3,000 and a $4,000 increase for teachers, and giving everybody else 3%. That's what we provided to you this afternoon after staff, because Ms. Bloodworth was on vacation. I actually took a day, so we got it together for you today. Beyond that, I want you to look over that and then tell me what else you want. When we say everybody else, what does that mean as far as giving amounts to other people? Are we talking about everybody getting 3,000? Are we talking about some getting 3,000 and other people get, whatever it is? I just need to know what the direction is, because I can't direct staff without knowing exactly. So just look at what we provided you and then send us back information or specific requests.
We are very excited to get the 3% to everybody.
Yes, absolutely.
3% for
All employees,
all employees.
as we agreed to in the budget parameters and small group meetings leading up to the budget preparation.
Oh, wait a minute, now, let me see. So right now today, and I would remind us that we're fixing to vote on the budget.
Yeah, we're getting ready to
3% for
vote
all
on it.
employees.
Okay, so that, right, so, you're right.
That's in the budget.
That's in the budget.
So we don't,
So
so
what
we
about the
don't
teachers
lose
saying that-
anybody going back and forth. Let's have it stated officially. Okay?
The budget for the 25-26 school year currently contains a 3% raise for all employees.
Okay, I knew that. So.
With the exception.
What's our discussion now? What are we talking about, something for the future with the 3,000 for teachers?
That's information they're gonna bring back to us.
That you already have.
Okay, that's just a discussion.
So we will look at that, and if people want more, we
I just need to know what specifically. Yes.
hopefully to maybe have, July's, but anyway, we might have this more discussion in July. We'll see what people want to do. But yes, we're all very happy with the 3%.
Yeah, we fixing to vote on this budget tonight. Okay. All right.
Any more questions? We're ready to vote now. We're voting on the budget,
We're voting on the budget, the whole budget.
the whole budget.
That's what we discussed last week. 2 or 3 weeks ago, the 3%, okay.
So while we're voting, just if you know, just let me know, is there still some kind of bonus for special ed teachers? Are we still maintaining that? Was it $2,000? All right, that item passes. 614 is the approval of the meal rate for 2026 at
14, okay.
what was that?
Okay, thank you.
I said 614, did I not? Okay, item 614.
Move to approve, I'm so confused.
Motion by Ms.
We still in
Buckner.
action, okay.
Yeah, we taking action. Second by Ms. Jackson. And for the record, Ms. Chambers, what's the meal rate that we're voting on?
And did it increase?
20
if you would hit your. Hit your, okay, go ahead.
Okay, for the record, the millage rate will not change. It will be the same as last year, which is 23.075. It remains unchanged, is what we're voting on, if it passes.
We're ready to vote. All right, that passes. 6.15 is policy DG for depository funds. Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Buckner. Are there any additional questions? We're ready to vote now. Hit your mic.
Depository of funds, and not all professional services will be reviewed.
We're doing two different ones. One is for depository funds, and then we're doing all professional services.
Well, this one says depository funds, and under it, the language says all professional services will be reviewed. It's supposed to say that the depository of funds will be reviewed at least every 5 years, and requests for proposals will be sought every 10 years. That's what it said.
Press for bid.
Again, this policy is only related to the depository of funds, so I don't think we want the language in it to say all professional services will be reviewed. And I feel like I've said this every month for the last 2 months.
Okay, we don't want it to say, I thought you specifically said that if we did that for depository of funds, you also want all professional services.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a separate.
Which is supposed to be separate?
Two different policies. There's one for our professional services, and there's one for our depository of funds. Look under, what is the next one, D? Can we take away the vote so I can click on something?
Ms. Chambers? Oh, I thought that was Ms. Taylor. I'm sorry. I thought it was Ms. Chambers.
The way I'm reading it, and tell me if I'm incorrect, that it's saying for the depository.
Which one, Nikki?
I'm sorry?
Which one?
The, what
6.15.
she was talking about. For depository of funds, all professional services related to that will be reviewed. And then it goes for the next one for bid and quotations, all professional services for that will also be under review. Is that correct? So it's two separate, it's addressing two separate things. So all professional services for the depository of funds will be reviewed every 5 years and bids every 10. And then for bids and quotations that services we have, that will have the same policy. It's just written under two separate, that's how I'm reading it. Am I right?
All professional
Okay.
services will be
That's how I understand it.
Okay, so it is two separate. It's just using, yeah,
The
okay.
same language, and I think that's fine, then actually have it say all professional services for depository of funds will be reviewed at least every 5, because, I mean, the title of the board policy doesn't really have legal bearing. It sounds like it's just saying all professional services, which
Yes,
is then
that's
said
true.
in the next one.
So that was my,
But I guess because it's
And
talking
Gregory,
about
you tell me-
depository funds,
You really think the depository of funds carries enough legal weight that when we, under it, say all professional services?
Well, just
when
add
somebody comes-
regarding the depository funds?
Well, it
Just-
doesn't
just
say
add it
that.
in there.
It just says all professional services.
All
So
professional
if somebody
service-
else comes and questions
And-
that,
And all professional services and depository funds will be reviewed just add it in as an add-on.
Yeah.
Can
But
I-
it's, but
can
it's
I-
under the policy DG, depository of funds as recommended.
Well, just put just and depository of funds, that'll be good, that'll be.
I have a question.
That's the big part of.
Ms. Chambers?
I have a question for legal. So the second part of that says requests for qualifications or competitive bids will be sought every 10 years. And it doesn't say for depository of funds. So
But the policy is DG, depository.
I understand, but that's not what it says. So my question to legal is, if we vote yes, are we saying, sometimes we have competitive bids and we do a contract with that person and the contract is only for 5 years? Are we going to sort of muddy the water by saying requests for qualifications or competitive bids will be sought every 10 years without specifying that we're only talking about the banking services?
That's my point.
So this been on the table for
Can
30
we
days.
Can we let legal respond?
I'm pretty sure I said it last month.
Great.
Great.
Would you?
As I interpret these two things that are on the agenda tonight being read together, all relating to a form of a professional service, whether it's a professional banking service or some other professional service, and I agree with the way Ms. Tillery described it. That's how I interpret it. I don't see this causing confusion in the future. And when you have the discretion in the future to say, well, this is a type of service that we want to obtain requests for proposals, or this is the kind of service that we want to obtain competitive bids, depending on what it is. I mean, I think this gives you the maximum discretion. The board and the administration are given maximum discretion.
Let me get you turned on.
We did them at the same time, but going forward, if maybe in a year somebody comes back and says, I don't really think that our legal services should be, that we should do that more frequently, we should do it every 3 years. You're saying that we could then still leave the wording under depository of services, and that's not going to confuse people. I get that right now they say the exact same thing, so it doesn't seem to matter, but if they ever changed between what we're doing for the depository of funds and what we are doing for all other professional services, it could cause confusion that under depository of funds, it doesn't qualify that language some more.
I agree.
I don't understand. Tell me the confusion is what, Lori?
Right now, it's not a big deal because they say the same thing. But going forward, if somebody just wanted to look at professional services, I would just feel better if it was clear as day that under depository of funds, it says, because really to me, all professional services is kind of not really what we talk about related to depository funds. We usually, in the past, we didn't call it professional services. We called it depository of funds will be put out to bid. We've now changed it to professional services.
We changed that at the discussion when we had the major discussion.
Right.
Because as we were discussing, we said that this is, someone said that the reason that it should, the reason that we shouldn't do this was because it was professional services. And then we referenced our own agenda. Our agenda is divided in terms of sole sources, and it's divided it's divided in a section called professional services. And one of you, somebody said that, well, let's do all of the professional services like that. Therefore, when he wrote this, since we had included that as a professional service, I'm assuming that's why I didn't have a problem with it, because in all that discussion that we had for a long board, maybe twice, maybe 2 or 3 board meetings, we referred to all that as professional services. So when we got the legal and language for it, that's what he used, professional service. Now, if y'all want to change profession and separate it, Does anybody have a problem with it?
I do.
If you were, who does? If you have a problem with that, Lori, you're saying you have, if we have a
I'm
problem with
saying
it,
I
we
have a
can
problem
change
with
it.
the current language, yeah. I
If
think,
you have a problem with the language, then, does anybody have a problem with us changing the language?
You mean changing it so
Even-
we're specific that it's talking about depository?
Yeah, I mean, because it wouldn't be a
I don't have a
with-
problem with that.
So let me suggest this as a way to move forward. So you have options. One option tonight is to make a motion to amend policy DJ, or DG, whatever, I think it's DG, and see if a majority of folks want to change that language to add the phrase professional services for depository accounts, to make sure that in the future there isn't any confusion.
Is there amendment to the
So-
motion?
I think I made the motion, so let me amend I have to
I'm
amend it,
asking
right?
now, so go ahead.
Anybody can make
do
a,
it. Anybody.
So
no great
do I
thing.
need to withdraw my motion then?
What
No,
motion?
he said
No.
amend the motion. Is there
any
amendment?
any
I would
board
like-
member could make a motion to
Lori, you can
amend.
amend, and I'll second.
I'll make a motion to amend the policy to say,
To amend the
to
motion
amend the
Let's see
motion.
what
to,
it say.
say,
Amend the motion to do what, Lori?
to change the language, right?
But I want to hear what the language change will be before I,
She's
Well,
got to
I'm really
amend it
trying to-
first.
I guess the easiest, before we just called it depository funds. I don't know why it got changed to all professional services, but if,
can we just
without getting
add
confused that,
depository
we can just
service
say,
with professional services?
all professional services related to the depository of funds will be
Like that.
reviewed. Does that
Yes.
sound good?
Okay,
Second.
So what about the other professional services?
hold on
The
one
other
second,
one's
let's
fine.
note that.
Huh?
The other one's fine, in my opinion.
Okay, so is there a second to that motion to
Second by
amend?
Ms. Chambers.
Okay.
Wait a minute, let me see, all professional.
Are there
services.
any questions? Anybody else have any questions or,
I have a question. I want
Ms.
to see,
Buckner,
I
go
want to see
ahead.
what the rest of it is. I'm just trying to see the whole thing.
okay,
So-
say it again, Laura.
So we're gonna
Put your
vote
mic
on, how does the whole thing read? After everything is amended, tell me what it's gonna say.
It would say, all professional services related to the depository of funds will be reviewed at least every 5 years, and requests for proposals, requests for qualifications, or competitive bids will be sought every 10 years.
So we're not doing anything about professional services? Other
That's,
pro-
that's
I
on the
think
next.
that's
That's
gonna be
a
another
separate
conversation,
Okay.
yeah.
That's next one down.
Okay, that's good then. That's great.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All right, so we need a hand vote.
And what you'd be doing at this point is voting on whether or not you want to amend it, and then you would take a vote to approve it as amended. It's a two-step
All right,
process.
so the vote is to amend, six. Which one was it?
6.15.
6.15. All in favor? All right, that passes. Are any opposed?
No. Let me
Okay.
ask one question. I'm sorry, I read it vote and everything.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Just one question where it says request for qualifications or competitive bids. So does that mean that we don't have to have a competitive bid?
I interpret this to mean that the administration would have the discretion as to the method it would choose, and the board would also have the same discretion to say, yes, we're comfortable with the methodology that you use to bring the recommendation to us, and therefore we will support it, or the board could say, we don't like that
want a hard
methodology, we're
bid.
not going to support it. But it's basically giving,
So therefore, we won't have to have a competitive bid. My
It's listed on the,
yeah,
it's
not-
listed on
You
there,
have to do one of those three things.
right?
Okay.
It says this includes
Which means
using
that-
bids, proposals, quotations, and established contracts. So it could be a contract or proposal or bid.
So it means that we don't have to have, my thing is that we should have a competitive bid. This thing says that we don't have to. My problem was that as with every other thing, every other banking system or every other organization, the city and all the other cities and probably all the other school systems, they have a competitive bid. They don't just have the same, now, I don't care whether we have the same bank or not. what I
But
do
in,
care
but
is
in
that
the
we operate.
discussion, in the discussion,
In the discussion, we said a bid every 10 years. That's what we had. That's what the discussion said.
There are some times, if I may, there are some times when competitive bid is appropriate. There are other times when a request for qualifications is more advantageous. Mr. Joseph can probably speak to that.
Well, we already know that this is a bank. So-
But this, let's not get confused, because I think we're getting back down in that same rabbit hole about whether or not we're talking about depository of funds or whether we're going to talk about all professional services.
We just talking about one thing now, as she just,
Okay.
as she
I'm-
just cleared
I'm
up.
confused.
As Laura just separated, we're talking about the depository of fund. That's all we're talking about in this.
That one doesn't say.
And so this thing says that the initial discussion was, which I brought up, is that we have a monopoly here. We have a monopoly, unquestioned monopoly here in Muscogee County School District. We have chosen one bank forever. That's what we have done. And what my point was is that we should not have a monopoly on this school board for one bank. Now, whether we continue to choose the bank, that's fine. But at some point, we should offer this out to all the banks, to the other banks in Muscogee County, where everybody brings in, have a request, and we see what everybody else have. Everybody else may not be as good as Synovus, or they may not be as great. Or we still may choose them every time we vote every 10 years. However, that opportunity should be on the table. We should not continue to we did not have one monopoly here on this school board. That phrasing should have.
I very much hear what you're saying, and I think, so I guess to help, and again, anyway, I think under a request for proposal, they would have to give dollar amounts and fees, right? Correct. Which is what you're really getting at in having it, between a request for proposal and a qualification, a request for proposals and a competitive bid, the information that is given and the decision is made largely on what they tell you they're gonna charge you for the services, right? But yes, I think to your point, the request for qualifications, would that give us that kind of information? Would that give us actual fee information? So I think what Ms. Buckner is saying is maybe
take out
take
qualifications.
out request for qualifications and just say either a request for proposals or a competitive bid would be sought every 10 years.
Okay, say it again, Lori.
So we would just take out the request for qualifications, and it would just be that, and request for proposals or competitive bids will be sought every 10 years.
Request for proposals
Or competitive bid, because
Based on price.
a request for proposal is not that different than a competitive bid. Sometimes they just call them different things.
But in the request for proposal, would the committee, generally, when they analyze they set up the proposal for, what the people who are working on this request for proposal, the group that you have, because usually they would send it in, and it will be scored by a group. So when it's scored by that group, what I'm saying is that it's pretty much a request for qualifications. Because
No, either one, the request for a proposal or competitive bids, both have a criteria matrix that you're talking about.
Yeah, they have a criteria, they both have a criteria.
I think with the qualifications, you're not always asking for your actual cost. You're more asking, do you have the qualifications to do a certain something?
Yeah, you're asking for
So that's why I think you were saying you would like that taken out, because you want the fees to be a big part of what is considered when we look at a depository of funds.
I want the fees and services. So, yes.
I think that could be achieved through either one of those two.
Yeah.
Request for proposals or competitive bids. So that means we might be amending it again, but.
Okay, so they might have the request for proposal also, I'm talking about fees and services.
Yeah.
That's what we need
Well,
to
I'm
look at.
shaking head, but one of them should probably
Is that
respond
fees,
for sure.
Madam Chair? Is that fees and services? Janice, that's
When there are-
financial. What, these people who do bids? You do, who does bids? That's.
And I think the request for qualifications would come in. If I start a bank tomorrow, I don't have enough qualifications to be able to support Muscogee County School District. So request for qualifications would come in to make sure that we're not going to give it to a bank because they're going to charge us $5, but they've never done or held a business like ours. So that's why that's important to be in there, because we need to know that they didn't start yesterday or go bankrupt a year ago, because that would affect us as well. So that's why that would help.
You could have the RFQ followed by the RFP.
No, when they set it up, though, the request for, usually when they set it up.
If you design it that way.
When they set it up, it includes,
Help us out, Mr. Joseph.
if you can, just do what you can.
I'm so sorry. Chewing gum during the board meeting is not a good idea. And then get called up. I'll get through it. Competitive bid, easy definition, is the overarching part of the bidding process. Underneath the bidding process, you do have a request for proposal, request for qualification, and invitation to bid or invitation for bid. So, all due respect, it seems like we're talking about semantics. I understand that what you're looking for is criteria and pricing.
Criteria and pricing.
And that will give you the criteria and the pricing that you're looking for. An invitation to bid or invitation for bid is pricing strictly. And that's what we don't want to put in that situation.
So which will give us both? the
Right,
invitation and
yes.
criteria.
So you're basically okay with the way the wording is now. If you choose to remove the qualifications, you can. It doesn't deter what we're trying to do as far as bidding the process. The request for proposal or the competitive bid umbrella will cover that.
Okay, so the request for proposal, yeah, but you generally use some qualifications when you, okay.
Yeah.
Because you do put the criteria when you do the request for proposal.
Correct.
But that's based on the qualifications.
Correct.
Okay.
So,
To make sure I have, maybe I was confused. But these are three separate things that could be done, right? And if you only sought a request for qualifications, then you wouldn't be getting fee information, right?
you wouldn't be required to get fee information initially. Request for qualification just identifies the skill set and the expertise of the vendor. The pricing then can come into phase two. The phase two is not really identified as its own proprietary information, as its own standalone bid. So if you look at it from the perspective of competitive bid, and inside the house of the competitive bid is the request for proposal, which requires a criteria and a pricing. Inside that house also has the request for qualification, which is primarily the expertise of the vendor, phase one. Phase two is the pricing of the vendor.
Okay,
And-
then I think part of our problem is the semantics, and we have an or. And an or sounds like it's one of those
That's
three
right.
things,
Yeah.
not all three of them together.
So we need a separate sentence, I think, for a request for qualifications, because it sounds like we still need it.
You could leave it the way it is, because like I said, you're still gonna need a pricing, and the pricing would be phase two. So you're almost repeating the same thing with a request for qualification and a request for proposal. The only difference is request for qualification gives you a phase one and a phase two. Request for proposal, as you submit your bid submittal, it will have the criteria, meet the criteria points and the pricing.
But it says or, like we can do one of three things. We could request for a proposal.
Yes.
We could request for qualifications.
Yes.
Or we could have a competitive bid.
Right, the competitive bid is semantics. It's basically saying you will be bidding this item. So you can actually look at it from the perspective of, once again, the competitive bid is the overarching. Inside of that house is the request for proposal or the request for qualification. So you're basically telling us that we will need to bid that option out is where the competitive bid comes in.
Would changing or to and help us?
Yes.
I mean, you can.
And competitive bid will be sought. Yeah,
We
I
want-
think we
It
should
does.
table it too.
What?
We don't had a table about 2 months, this all was.
We just talking about a word. We just talking about a word.
I like, the and, if we could put and in,
So how
like
do we
Ms.
go back,
Green
Mr.
suggested.
Parliamentarian? What do we do now? Do we just, we got to vote in suspense?
But while we have our expert here, if we change this to
instead of
That's
or.
gonna cover pretty much what we do anyway if we were doing something for our depository funds.
It would confuse it. Because if you're asking us to do it and, you're basically telling us to go ahead and do a request for proposal and do a request for qualification.
So you want us to, your professional recommendation is to leave it as it is?
Correct.
And we can carry this vote
I
that we
believe
have
so.
hanging up there?
But still adding the depository, clarifying that it's depository funds, right?
Right, but just, you know, we got a call back
Let me
just to
ask
deal
you
with
a
this
question.
last part.
So the way
I
this
agree.
This
is-
last sentence.
Yes, let's
The way
do
this,
that.
the way this is written up, if we leave this as it is, then we would not have to have a bid, right?
No, you still need a bid. You're basically telling us to go out for bid.
So if we leave this.
If you left it the way it is, you're saying that this requires a bid.
Okay, if we leave this out,
Yes.
it says that this requires a bid in 10 years.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
What we doing now? Have we voted?
State your amendment again, please. Can
We
you read
voted
it
for-
one more
now we
time?
voted for the
We are
amendment.
voting on the amendment of 6.15
already
to
voted to
read
change it.
as. We already did it.
As I always do, I will defer to Ms. Jones on this, but
Okay,
I
Ms.
thought
Jones.
that there was already a vote
To
where
change
you
it.
approved the amendment to add the depository of funds language.
Correct.
And now, there has
Okay,
not
so
been
I need a motion
to approve
the amendment.
agenda item as amended.
The agenda item 6.15 as amended.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Chambers,
Second.
second by Ms. Buckner. All in, do we have any more questions? No, okay,
She ready
great.
to have
All
a
in
vote.
favor, raise your hand. Are there any opposed? Mark had his hand raised, Ms. Jones. All right, that passes. Woo!
Hallelujah. I understand.
I asked. Okay, let's see, 6 point,
What?
skip what?
He's still lighting up asking us. Mine was.
Oh, mine is gone. Okay. That was 6.15. 6.16 is board policy DJED, bids and quotations. Motion
Motion. I'm so moved.
by Ms. Buckner, second by Ms. Jackson. Are there any questions? Wordsmithing? We're good? We're ready to vote now. All right, that passes. And then our last item is on the table for 30 days. That is the Student Code of Conduct. And this is also Mr. Matt Bell's last meeting, right?
To that end, yes, Mr. Bell will be officially ending his tenure with the Muscogee County School District as of June 30th, and on that date, next Monday, from 4 to 5:30. From 4 to 5:30 at the museum, in the Galleria section of the museum, we'll be hosting a reception for Mr. Bell, and want to invite everyone who'd like to attend that to say farewell to him and thank him for his service, as we all do.
And we saw an invite for Dr. Vickers Ward.
Hers is coming up next month because she doesn't officially retire until August 1. Is that the right official date, or July 31st, or? Yeah.
It's your last board meeting as well. That's
yeah.
right.
Oh, that's- yeah.
She did mention that. Okay.
So both of you, we thank you both for your service and for your commitment to MCSD and its students. I just want to say thank you. It's been a pleasure working with both of you, and wish you all the best in your future endeavors, whatever they may be.
Thank you so very much, guys. So the consent agenda. Motion by Ms. Frey, second by Ms. Jackson. Any questions, any pullouts, further discussion? Any item? We're ready to vote now.
I don't know if this matters, but mine just says 7.01.
Oh, the student handbook says 24-25? Typo? The draft, okay. Are we waiting on anybody to vote? Which one? Ms. Chambers, yours didn't come up? Oh. All right, that passes. Our next, we only have one board meeting next month, that's July 21st. And we will also enter into the record our assessments for our exemplary board application, so please complete those. And if you have someone you want to serve on our exemplary committee, please submit that, or we're gonna go with we're gonna roll those people over. I've already contacted them. And is there anything else for the good of the order? All right. Need a motion to adjourn? Motion by Ms. Chambers, second by Ms. Buckner. Wave goodbye. Good night. We're adjourned.